But yeah, you may have caught me driving, you know. And to me it didn't. When did I drive you? Where did I drive you to?
We went to a shoe store, I think, or some kind of plaza.
You was in the car with me?
It was me, you, Uncle Russell, and I think Jay.
I took y'all somewhere.
Somewhere. Yeah.
And that's another thing. My memory ain't worth recording.
Come on, Benny, man. The kid is a L7 Weenie.
That, and then a timer. And I left my Uno cards in the damn. I'm gonna have to run down and go get those real quick. I'm like, that's gonna be a whole separate video. I'm like, Miss Thang, does she know the rules?
I don't
of how
know
to play
the rules.
Uno?
I just knew that I ain't played it in a long time.
We're gonna play by the actual quote-unquote rules that you looked up on your handy-dandy internet.
Oh, I didn't look up. I just was investigating the one rule, and then they came out when they came out with the new rule.
So now you think you say you weren't looking up, you investigating. You realize that's level 2.
They came out
right?
with a new rule.
What's the new rule?
It just popped up where it was saying you can't double dip like that, you know? You can't have the person to keep pulling the same, you know, if that person put down the draw 4, they can't get another draw 4.
But that's, well, okay, you know, all the same, we're gonna have to play.
We ain't playing no Uno, are we?
I don't want to play them. I don't care, but I already beat them. I want to play you.
Even know
I want to play you.
Then he might be here cheating me, so right? I ain't played Uno in 100 years.
I said, whatever the rules, whatever you want the rules to be, that's what we're gonna play.
I just want them to be regular.
All right, and we'll play by whatever you deem regular. Cause that's you know that's how everybody.
I'm gonna have my coach back here to tell me you ain't cheating.
You've been watching King Richard too long. You don't get no coaches. And,
yeah.
You don't get no.
I get a lifeline.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So how you doing?
Doing well. It's great to be here in Atlanta.
Right.
You know, great opportunity that you coming by, cause you know. When I come in and out, I don't expect to, if I see somebody, it's a plus. Because, you know, in Atlanta, I did not rent a car, because I hate to have folks drive in Atlanta. You know, I used to live here, so.
When?
I lived in Atlanta for a couple of years.
When, was this before I was alive, or before I was sentient?
No, Danielle was alive. It was so long ago.
Danielle's been alive a long time.
Yeah, it was when I had a whole different husband. This was a long time
I've seen a clip of him. You know, so this is how conversation goes with me. We go the branch. But, Grandpa, Richard Davis, my mom's dad. I don't know if you remember, he used to record a bunch of stuff. So there's a recording of back when my family was at the Blue House in the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And you're on there with, I was like,
yes.
When I saw it, I was like, that sounds
so it was exactly then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when y'all was at the cul-de-sac, and, you know, me and Auntie had came down one time, and I moved down here and all that stuff, and I was like, hey, Aunt, I want to come by there, you know, he gave me these long directions because I was in Dunwoody. Yeah, so it was back then.
Oh, wow. So yeah, you were here for 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
What made you leave?
Because I didn't, I needed a divorce. Actually got my divorce here.
Okay.
Found a great lawyer here, and I moved back to Chicago.
Y'all keep that.
Yeah. Things didn't work out well, as I should say.
Okay. So I remember when there was a lot of talk before, back in, I don't know, a few years ago, and Dad was saying everybody's talking about moving down here.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, that'd be great. You know, it's like I didn't know that there was an attempt at this already. So
yeah, I mean, that has been the plan, to find somewhere where we all can kind of end up, you know, together. And since almost everybody here, you know, that would be kind of a spot. Plus the weather, you know.
Right.
After a while,
What's it like in Chicago right now? Or the past
well,
week?
actually, when we looked at a comparison, we're getting weather like Atlanta. You know, y'all nights are like 30s at night. We're getting the same stuff. So, you know, I don't know. That's kind of odd, but, you know, I'll take it, you know. Normally, y'all got the high end of what we have, so, but, no, y'all lows been just as low as Chicago lows, which is different.
Yeah, Mom went to New York this weekend, and she was saying the weather's supposed to be like just about what it is here. So I guess everybody on the East Coast is kind of just sitting in that same weather. So, yeah, but,
no, we, speaking of New York, me and Nita, so we're going to Greece next year in June.
Greece.
Yes.
Okay.
And the flight leaves out of JFK. And I was like, hey, we should go in early, do a show, do something, hang out and all that stuff. So we're trying to put that together. You know, Nita giving me these excuses of her finances, but, you know.
I mean, that's a legitimate excuse.
Just pull some money from under the mattress and let's go.
So not as many people have as many mattresses as you, man.
I don't have as many mattresses, but I'll make it happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like, let's say, what have you been up to, like you say, experience-wise? Because it seems like you do a lot. Like, just from the outside looking in.
From what perspective? Travel? What?
Yeah, just travel, show. Y'all going to the Lizzo/Lotto concert,
yeah,
right?
So we're going to Lizzo tonight. I basically, like, this is what I like to do. So, well, this is how this one happened. When we were in Vegas last week, we went to see Usher.
So, yeah, you were in Vegas last week.
Yeah, it was so cool having Mom, Nita there, the girls and stuff. But the prime thing was to go see Usher.
Okay.
We had been there in August to see him, but Usher's one of my favorite entertainers. So wherever he's gonna be, I try and get there. But anywho, so while we went to see Usher, we wanted to see Lizzo. Lizzo was in Chicago the weekend we was in Las Vegas.
Okay.
So when we looked, we're like, oh, but she'll be in Atlanta the next week. Let's go to Atlanta. Fly to Atlanta, see Lizzo, and have some fun. Actually, last night we got tickets and went to the Hawks game.
Oh, yeah.
And they won. Magic.
Oh, that's why they won. Okay.
Well, barely, you know.
Yeah. And that sounds like the Hawks. Like, it's like, so they're supposed to win, but, like, we're going to get there. It's a struggle, but we'll get there.
Yeah, it was a little touch and go, but I was glad that they won since we, you know, decided to go. It's in walking distance from here.
Right.
So.
When I was coming down here, I was like, oh, this is kind of like, there's Coca-Cola.
Yep.
The aquarium is right next door. And then you got the Hall of Fame for the College Football Hall of Fame, right? And then, yeah, the actual State Farm Arena is not too far. I was like, everything is really on this, like, little, like, 2-5 blocks.
Which works out great, yeah.
But yeah, it works great. I guess it's, you know, it's funny the way they set up the city. Because the baseball stadium used to be down here, too.
Okay.
Turner Field, I don't know if you're familiar, but it was like, that wasn't as close to everything else.
Okay.
So eventually they realized most people who go see the baseball games are coming from like northern Georgia, like the suburbs out where I live in Marietta.
Yeah.
So they just built the stadium over there.
Okay.
And I guess they just abandoned this little block of all these attractions.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's more. I was like, I'm thinking now, it's like, it's probably because they couldn't put it over here because the football stadium was already right there, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So it's like, well, if we can't get it in this immediate area, just put it out there.
No, I like the area down here. It's pretty walkable for one thing. That's what I was trying to, when I research hotels, plus I'm a Hilton Honor member, so research hotels for Hilton, and I'm like, how far is that to, perfect. Let's walk right over there, so so that was good.
So we got a Hawks game, Lizzo, Vegas last week. What else you been up to?
Besides that, last travel would have been with you in June for the mega celebration, the cruise, you know, but next year, starting January, so this is my last trip for the year. So January, I got the super cruise with Russ, we going on that is where all the musicians are on the cruise. So we're gonna see Kim. I think Babyface Stokely's on there. Let us see quite a few entertainers. They come on the ship. It's a great experience to actually have all that entertainment on the cruise line.
How wide is the buffer between entertainers and the people on the cruise? Like, do you ever like catch them just on the boat?
Yeah, it's just like me and you talking right now.
Oh, cool.
I have several, like in my phone, pictures of Avery Sunshine. Like, hey, sis, kind of, hug, let's take photos type of things. But I will tell you, JB Smooth last year, John B, he was out getting fries. I'm like, hey, can we take a, come on though. We took pictures. All of Michael Collier, all of the, on that cruise, everybody's friendly. One person who wasn't, Dougie Fresh, had like a security guard, like, hello, really? I don't really need that.
And you think he'd be numb to it at this point? Exactly.
Him and one of the other comedians, in order to just say hi, he was charging people, like, for pictures, $25 to take a selfie, with him.
He broke. That's what that is. Trying to rack up as much as he can.
I just didn't understand it. So, and then the last one Nita went on. She said Fantasia didn't want nobody by her and this and that. So I guess I'm not a celebrity, but if I'm on there for that, you should expect your fans to want to mingle with you.
Like you block out like maybe an hour of the day to where you're just on
out
the
and
boat,
about,
and you see who you see or whatever. Not like, hey, it's me, but it's like if someone sees you, it's like, oh,
I'll just stop for a quick. We ain't gotta sit down and people just want to stop. Hey, quick, go on your way, But she wasn't for that. But to each his own. If that's what she wants to do, that's what she wants to do.
We don't know. Maybe it was just a bad day.
Whatever. So anywho, so January got the cruise. May, South Carolina.
What's
First time I got a Hilton package, and they were like, hey, come spend 4 days, 3 nights with us, and check out South Carolina, blah blah blah. So I don't know what's there, but I'm gonna find out. So I'm going there. We're staying on the boardwalk of whatever they got, so that'll be nice. So that's May. June is Greece. We got August going to Aruba. September we hitting another cruise. So there's a couple of months in there where I might can squeeze something else in if some entertainment come up. I like Nashville. If Bruno's in Nashville, maybe I'll hit that, or whoever's gonna be performing. We'll seek it out. So yeah.
So how much are you following the NBA these days?
Not much, I'll tell you.
Well, I'm like, so at this point, and I asked Dad, like, so what do you want, like, as a present or something like that? I mean, I didn't straight up ask him. I was trying to be, like, I don't know. What do you just like these days? What do you just want? But he was just saying, like, kind of like how the vibe you're on. He's looking more so for experiences than actual things. And I was saying what might be a cool experience if we were to go and see a basketball game in someone else's, stadium, like versus just going to a Hawks game.
Right.
Like, I was thinking about maybe us going to San Francisco to see Golden State play, or Brooklyn to see the Nets play.
Anyway.
Because especially because it's like the chance that they're not hurt when they come, here is very low, especially for a West Coast team, because they're only coming here one time out of the year.
That's true.
So it's like, it's better if we just go there.
That's a great idea.
Where they're mostly there. So, but NBA games, like, hella expensive. So, like, for reasonable seats, they're like super expensive. But I'm saying this because I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'll let you know when we pick a spot. That might be something,
Oh, for sure. And just like last night, I told Nicole, we ain't looking to be courtside, just to experience a Hawks game, and I was sitting there, which is so funny because we were like, okay, who they playing? I was like, well, I guess we better root for the Hawks, since we are in their house. So,
don't nobody root for the Hawks. Atlanta's a melting pot different people. So lots of times, anytime the other team scores, there's just as loud of a cheer. So it's all good if you didn't.
No, we did. I think they did great last night. So that brings me to, like you saying, that if we go to, wherever to see somebody else play, I guess I need to cheer for the home team when I'm in their house.
Yeah, I'm at this point, I'm honestly, when I watch any game, TV in the arena, I just want to see a good game.
That's true.
It's
That's
like,
true.
There's a couple superstars that I'm kind of just like rooting for, but it's like, I don't have the same kind of allegiances that I used to have, so to speak. It's like, I was with the Bulls for like a good stretch, like up until the rise of Dwayne Wade. So like in the Ben Gordon, Kirk Heimer days, I was like, yeah, Bulls, you know. And then it was just kind of like, all right, D Wade.
Sure.
And then he fizzled out, or not that he fizzled out.
Yeah.
LeBron came in there, and then it was just like, all right, well now I got all these bandwagon people rooting for the Heat too. So it's like, it's like I don't want to be associated with the bandwagon, so I just kind of like, all right, yeah, cool, yeah, D-Wade won that championship, that's good for him, and I just kind of like, I just like the game now. So,
but do you look at football the same way?
I'm still slowly getting into football.
Okay.
Like I think I got into I guess the most I've ever been into was like maybe 2 years ago, two seasons ago, and I got really into it then. Or it was like 3 seasons ago. I don't know. It was the year that Dak started doing really good.
Okay.
Dak Prescott for the Cowboys. So when he was doing really good, and I thought this was like the resurgence of the Cowboys, I'm like, this seems like a cool time to be a football fan. And then Aaron Rodgers was still, doing really good. And then, Tom Brady, of course.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, Ezekiel Elliott, Dak, Tom Brady, it was like Aaron Rodgers. It was interesting.
Sure.
And then Dak got hurt, and that kind of killed my enthusiasm for that. And then I was kind of rooting for Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, and then like just seeing because I've always heard about Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And it was like, but I never really watched football. So it's like, okay, well, let's see what this Tom Brady guy's about, and then he beat the Falcons in glorious fashion. And it's like, well, I guess he is that dude, huh?
Sure.
So, So yeah, I got kind of attached to him, but it's just like the overall game.
Sure.
I'm not really that into it. I'd be more up for playing it than watching it at this point.
Yeah.
Not full contact, like two-hand touch.
Sure.
My knees hurt. So.
So my thing with football, I've always loved football, but I've stayed diehard to when I was young. I love the Steelers.
Okay.
I love the regime with Terry Bradshaw, your Lynn Swann, Franco Harris, and those are that's my foundation of football. Granted, living in Chicago, we had our Bears. I won, the fridge moment, Mike Ditka,
Aren't there
Aaron.
like a couple other members of your family that are like really hard Bears fans?
Well, your uncle, very hard Bears fan, but he respects my love for the Steelers because, he loves the Steelers. I've always liked Mike Tomlin, the coach, and all that, but they're like at home I got Steelers and Bears jerseys. And at one point we had a Bears flag out front and a Steelers flag out front, just letting them know what I represent, because I got to get my Steelers in there. So that's the main reason I love the game of football. I've been into it, used to love to play it, when I was a tomboy out there. You ask your dad. I used to want to be out there doing just what they were doing, so I love football.
Did you ever play? Did they do that back then?
No, not back then where I can play at school or something like, besides the flag, which I was excellent at it,
What was your position?
Receiver. Back then I was quick, ran track, so, quite naturally the two went hand in hand. So 50-yard dash, that was what I did in track. Of course, I played basketball throughout high school, so I don't know. Sports are great. So now, let me tell you now what my passion is firearms.
Firearms?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, being in the military, you know, being in the Navy, we had to qualify to be sharpshooters and all that stuff. And I was really good at that. So I'm really good at like archery, stuff that takes precision. You know, granted, my eyes not, you know, I don't have the eyes I had back then, but I try to keep them in tune. And so recently I started getting back into going to the range to shoot. You know, got my concealed carry and all of that. Bought me, you know, added to my set because I've always had firearms, but added to what I already have, you know, for, you know, protection and for skill. So it's been great to go to the range and you pull that sheet back and you got all.
Have you ever competed? Like you said, for skill. Like
I haven't because I just saw, I would say this is just since last year, November is when I started, you know, because I hadn't shot in years. Because we used to go to the range all the time, you know, before I moved out to the burbs and all that stuff. So I saw something with the concealed carry class. I was like, I think that'd be fun to go to. So when I went and qualified, I'm like, maybe this is something I can get back into. And so now, you know, every opportunity I get, I go. I take different guns with me. The instructor bring different guns to shoot. And it's just cool seeing, you know, how precise you can be with that target. You know, granted, I hope I never have to, for personal protection, use it. But I think it's just pretty cool to shoot. And
now I gotta ask, what exactly is a gun instruction class / and/or a gun range like in Chicago?
Yeah, so it would be great if everybody went. Because you know how people on these cop shows, first thing, you know, they got a gun, they shooting like this. This is not how you shoot no gun. This is all you see in the movies, but you will see in all these hip-hop movies. That is not how you shoot a gun. You should really perfect the skill set of being, you know, if you're going to play ball, you learn the fundamentals of learn the fundamentals of shooting a
like
gun.
Any sport.
Yeah. So classes in Chicago, they teach you to, because one, you do need a permit. You know, you get your FOID card, but you need a permit to carry. So you go to the class. One thing they teach you about, which is so important, is the basic laws of being a gun owner. Because you can't just be out here shooting somebody and think you might not go to jail. It depends on the scenario. There's so many scenarios where you still have concealed carry, but you went about the wrong way and you shot this person. You going to jail. You may think it's self-defense, but you have to think about the scenario. And that's one of the important things that they teach you. If you have the opportunity to run from the scenario, you do. You can't just be gunning people down.
So what? So what if the other person has a gun?
If the other person has a gun, yeah, it's okay, correct.
It's like, whatever you want to do.
What you gonna do? You defending yourself.
Okay.
But here's a better scenario. So if someone's walking the perimeter of your home and you go get your gun, what you can do first is say, hey, I'm armed, get off my property. Now, until that person set foot in your house, you legally can't shoot them. They haven't done anything to you. You can't see him outside and shoot through your glass. I shout, nigga, like, what was he doing? He on my property. Doing what harm? Now you done killed him and you going to jail.
Stepped on my flowers.
He all in the flowers. Same thing, man crawling through the window. He's gotta be in your house first.
In the window sill.
Yeah, because he still hasn't physically.
I don't know about that one.
This is the law.
Wow.
He has not phically harmed you yet. Let that joker get him. Once he boom on in there.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I have grounds. I fear for my life. You know, that scenario. But if he's still anywhere outside, you know, it's just the way the law goes. And I was in the class saying the same thing like you. Wow. People get shot in the back. If I say, hey, I'm armed, and he runs away, I ain't supposed to still shoot the man because he ran away from me. Some people still shoot. You going to jail. So you have to really be conscious. For one, you got to read those scenarios, it comes, you get a whole book of scenarios to read and understand the law so that you're protected. You also should insure yourself, which I have.
What's that mean? Insurance?
Because if I get into some altercation where I've had to shoot somebody, I got an attorney on the spot. I'm calling, hey, here's what happened in Chicago. They here. They coming to defend me, find out what happened, so that I don't be legally, you know, thrown in jail. Now I'm getting sued and all that stuff.
Okay.
So it's best, just like anything else, you got insurance for your health. You got insurance because I'm, you know, now I'm protecting myself and I don't want to be sued or anything like that.
Okay.
So the class is really good. It goes through all of that. They have what they call training, you know, Glocks or whatever. You go in, they got, you know, simulations of where you can shoot these rubber bullets and all of that, where they show you how to handle, how to hold a gun and all that stuff. You do all that in the classroom. The next day on Sunday, you go to an actual live range. So a shooting range is where you walk in, they have maybe 7 bays. This is a small range. They got ranges with 23, you know. But 7, you know, bays that you know, stalls you can go into. You got your targets. You got RCs, which are instructors that be inside where you shooting, because you don't want nobody coming in, blah, 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 blah. You can't be doing all that at the range. So you got people in there watching you, watching how you shoot. They can correct you, let you know, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. But you have to be able to shoot that your target at a certain point. I think you get 30 rounds. You got to do at least 22 or something to pass or whatever. Because then you'll have, when I went, I had all perfect, but some guy that was on to my right of me, he actually shot my target at the top. So you gonna get crazy people who not listening to the instructions. This guy was a know-it-all in class, and now you over here shooting my target. That let me know you don't know anything, that you just think you know everything. So I was saying that to say, if everybody had training, they would hit their targets. They wouldn't be out here shooting the wrong people. Not that they should be out there doing that, but they just out here shooting willy-nilly through folks' windows and this and that. They don't even understand what it's like to be, certified to own a gun.
So here's a curious question. I was about to say that. All questions are curious. That's why
they are.
Questions.
Yeah.
I'm interested because you know how, I don't know if this is true. This is actually kind of racist that I'm about to say this, but you know how it's kind of like the idea that martial arts is just like the standard over in Asia, right? Where it's like everyone does somewhat of a martial arts class in development years.
Yeah.
Do you feel like in America, if we're going to have such, freedom with guns and firearms, that a class should be mandatory just like any other class at some point in
it is
high school or something?
It is, and so that's why you got people on the street. For one, they've purchased illegally. They're not going to the place where I buy my firearms. It takes 2 to 3 days for them to do a background check to say yes, and to say yes, she can purchase a gun. There's no mental issues. If everybody purchased it in that manner, yeah, it would be safe. If everybody was required, once you purchase, you have to show, let's say even within 6 months, that you've attended a training class or something. That would be awesome. Because you, like I said, like you said, you would be skilled in that, at least have basic knowledge. It's people who own guns that don't get training. They've shot themselves in the foot, shot other people, cleaning it, let me just do, because you haven't gotten trained in that, So I think that would be an awesome, but,
So the answer is more so not like prohibition of guns, but more so education.
Education. I personally wouldn't say prohibition. Education to me, because we have a right to bear arms.
Right.
But to me, get some training. Get the knowledge behind the laws and everything. So yeah, you got your criminals out here doing what they want to do, but for for regular folks, but it should be you know, something training to go in with that, you know. I just figure with anything, you gotta learn how to drive a car. You don't just get in and go.
Right.
You take lessons.
And even that, like when I was a courier for FedEx, and I did the defensive driving class that they make you do before, you know, they put you out there. I was doing this. I'm like, I feel like everybody should have to do this, like at least once every 3 years or something like that, like just to touch it up, you touch up your skills.
The older you get, you know, you lose stuff. You know, you ain't thinking about it like you used to, and I think you should have to. And I know they do with driving, you know, but it's like I've been driving now whatever years. I ain't been back to. I don't think you go back to you like 80. I think Mama just went back not too long ago, 75 or something. A road test, and then she was nervous and didn't pass the first time. She said she was so mad because this is something you do all the time, but she doesn't drive all the time.
Right.
So I can see you making a mistake because now I'm nervous because now somebody watching me do it, you know. But I think it's not till later that you have to redo that. The only other thing they have you come back and do is, I think maybe you're written or something. I don't know. But it's not like you said, you know, after a while, at least on the milestones, maybe 40, 50, you know, something like that. But yeah. They don't have you coming back. That's why you see our older seniors, you know, driving slow and, you know, because the people around them, you know, going faster. But yeah.
I mean, I don't know. They only, and I don't know, sometimes I wonder if like the age should be moved up. Like from where it's like, I think it's 15 to where you can, they might have moved it up actually to 16 where you can get a license, but I feel like they might want to move it up to 17 because I see a lot of when I was door dashing a lot, I see a lot of mistakes being made, and usually it's someone real young. So it's like
you can't tell them nothing. You know, to me, every whatever. You know, they call it millennial, blah, blah, blah.
I think I'm a millennial.
Y'all are.
Yeah.
Supposed to be.
I'm like, I think, what's the new one, Gen Z?
I stopped. Even when they left baby boomers, I'm like, okay, whatever.
So they don't have the same ring,
I just think that times have changed, and I think they need to change things as times change. And what you just said is just such a great idea because back then I think folks that age were a little more responsible, and now, you know, you take get your permit at 16. These people talking back to the parents and
I think what it is too, it goes into like human beings, like children's interactions with technology. And like how it kind of shrinks people's attention spans. To where, your mind probably isn't developed in the same ways as a 16-year-old was 20 years ago.
Right.
So little things on the road are probably missing your vision because you're just not, you don't have the same skills.
I love it.
So there's probably a lot of evidence to support that.
Yeah, and somebody really should look into it. Yeah, I could just go by what I've seen, like you said, but I think there's some statistics out there.
I'm sure there's plenty of math.
Yeah.
But I can just look and it don't look right.
Don't feel right. That's what I'm thinking. I'm right there with you on that one. So
you know, it's funny though, cause I gotta be honest, Auntie. When last time I was in Chicago and I was in the car with you, you were driving so fast. Like I know we in a truck, but still, I'm like, man, we hitting these.
Because, you know, I'm pretty skilled. You know, I got old skills.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I got old skills. And I try, like, you know, when I was teaching the girls to drive, I'm trying to save you a lot of agony if you just listen.
Okay.
Just like when Nicole went to take her test, the lady came, she didn't pass. Nicole. She didn't pass the first time because the lady was like, Mom, she didn't listen. You know, and I'm like, hey, you know, you in the car, you gotta do your thing with the lady telling you once you get your license and you perfect your way of driving. But yeah, you may have caught me driving, you know, what and to me it didn't. When did I drive you? Where did I drive you to?
We went to a shoe store, I think, or some kind of plaza.
You was in the car with me.
It was me, you, Uncle Russell, and I think Jay.
I took y'all somewhere.
Somewhere. Yeah.
And that's another thing. My memory ain't worth recording. I'll be like, what was that? And later on, then I'll be like, oh, yeah.
It's like I haven't had many trips to Chicago lately, so it's probably whatever the, like, not the last one, but the one before that.
Okay.
was.
Well, I know you. Like I said, when they tell me stuff that I've done, I always trust that they, yeah, I'm quite sure I did. I ain't never saying I didn't do that, you know, because, yeah, I know I have my database, you know, I have to purge it every now and then, and some stuff just get thrown out.
You know,
yeah.
I think this is a perfect opportunity to talk about what do you do for a living again?
Right now, I'm a consultant, and I
Okay.
work for Avanade, and what I do is I help people adopt their technical transformations.
Okay.
So whether they're bringing Microsoft Azure, any cloud implementations, I help the people who's working with these softwares to adapt. Because you know, when you bring something new in, I've been doing it 20 years like this. I don't want anything new. We have to explain to, you know, the employees, hey, this is really good. And let me explain the benefits to you. Let me help you through it. We're going to get you trained, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I do. I love working on the tech side and the people side.
So that explains your memory, because you just got this carousel of groups of people. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
You used to just say, learn you, dump you, learn you, dump you.
Yeah. And you want to struggle with it, you going to be the one that's stuck. Because you can't, like I say, you have... It goes back to we were just millennials. You got people that's been in the workforce 20, 40 years. It's some ones that's been there before. You can't tell them nothing. They're not trying to learn nothing. They're not trying to learn. I don't want to say all. They don't want to even learn new technologies on phones and, you know, computers and all that stuff.
I get it, though.
Yeah,
it's like if you're comfortable and it's like it gets it done, you, like, even if it is more efficient the new way,
yeah,
you just like, but it gets the solutions you're asking.
Yeah, and it's what you know.
Right, and it's what I feel I'm a master of.
Right,
and now
see, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah, someone's trying to tell you, well, that don't matter now.
Right,
you know?
like, you know, we used to use COBOL 100 years ago. And now, you know, we got Java, we got everything else, but the COBOL dude is like, this is gonna last forever. Guess what? It's not. It's already gone. So now you're out of a job. You haven't rebranded. You haven't reskilled yourself because you got comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to bring you something new to upskill you so you can have a new skill to master.
Right.
Leave the old one alone, you know, because it's going away. So that's how I have to kind of go in and explain to people, because you're going to get different levels of resistance when you bring in change in. Change, whether you know, I gave them an example. I had Dora, your niece dog,
yeah.
she had these ceramic bowls, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, well, dang, Dora needs some new bowls. How about we get these shiny stainless steel, easier to clean, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Put the stainless steel bowls down there. She jumped back like, oh my gosh, she wouldn't eat out of them. It was change for her. She's like, where's my ceramic bowls that had the dog bone in the inside? Mm-hmm. Now you put the shiny thing. I don't know what that is. I don't want it. I'm not going to eat out of it. If you want to feed me, hand feed me from the bowl, I'll eat. But I'm not going over to the bowl to eat out the bowl.
Wow.
Guess what? I had to give her her bowl back.
How old is Dora?
Dora's 12 now.
Okay.
But this was way before now. This was like in the middle of her, you know, between puppy adulthood, where I just thought she wanted some new bowls. It was a change. She didn't want it, you know. Eventually, like, we put the shiny bowl outside, put some water in it. She'll get some water out of it outside, but she's like, I'm not trying to eat out the shiny bowl because it was a change. I'm trying to tell her this was better for you, but, you know, it did not work.
That's
so
interesting.
yeah, it's hard for people to adopt change, but that's what I'm there for.
Maybe that's just a mammal thing.
No.
No.
Nicole, little greedy dog, that dog will eat out of any bowl you put food in. She don't care whether it's shiny or plastic. It just was just for my dog.
What kind of dog she got?
Jack Russell.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Missy's a mess. But yeah, so that's what was the original question you asked me about my
You know, I think
job.
it's important.
Yeah.
I think that was the question.
But yeah, that's what I'm doing now. I guess the thing is, you know, at this point in my life, I'm trying to work smart and not hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to make it to retirement.
Which is when for you?
I don't know, you know, because I'm greedy. This is like, if I work to 70, I get more on my Social Security if it's still here. You know, that's a chance. You're like, is it going to be here? You know, that's the whole thing. If it's not, it's going to be here. But yeah, definitely if I work to 70, but, you know, I don't know. I don't know what that number means, whether mine is 62, 66, 65. I honestly, I don't even think about it. All I think about is my next trip.
Yeah, I'm about to say is when you have the expenses that you seem to rack up. I mean, yeah, it makes sense to if you enjoy doing it, and I think you enjoy doing it. It's like, well, yeah, I'll just keep working, and I will retire someday, but I'm not there yet.
I think my plan is to travel more, continue with my travel, and I've already got the yard set up to enjoy. So once I've been everywhere that I want to go, I can just sit back and relax and plant flowers and finish all the Lego sets I haven't finished, and go to the range, and that's it. I know people be like, oh, I'm a volunteer here and there. I probably could. It is a place I like to volunteer at, but that's not going to be my life. I'm just going to be relaxing and doing my stuff.
I'm thinking about it. I'm like, would I volunteer? Like, if I got, because with my business, I'm trying to get it, I'm working towards it being automated and passive as much as possible. And I'm like, if I get to a place where I just have free time, it's like, would I volunteer? I'm like, now that I think about it, when I drive around, Marietta, there will be things that I see, and it's like, well, someone could just do that and, fix that. And I probably would just be doing stuff like that, where it's like, oh, you see there's a dip in a hole, and also you gotta do is come over here, put some dirt in that hole, and make it easy so someone doesn't dip their wheel into it and stuff. Like, yeah, that's like a trip to Home Depot real quick. Like, yeah, I can do that. Or you just see trash on the side of the street.
And pick that up.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I'll take some time and go over there with a bag in an hour or so. I'd probably just do stuff like that.
Now, I like that because anything for the environment that's already going down a hole.
Right.
Well, that's why I'm outdoors. I just bought something from somebody, and they was like, if you give another $1, we can plant a tree. And I'm like, that would be so cool. Plant 5. What's $1?
Take 5.
I'm like, man, I can imagine 5 trees. I'm.
Oh, wait, hold on. When you cutting down this tree? Yeah, that's what I'd be like. When are you cutting down this tree? Are you gonna give it a good 50 years, or are you gonna?
Well, they're replenishing the forests, with the donations. That's what that was all about. Because they were, showing a video of, it's been burnt, so many wildfires and this and that, and us who have cut back a lot of environments where animals used to be. That's why we got deer running in the backyards and possums. We've created all of this. So that's why I thought it was a great idea. We had, with the village, you could enter this raffle to have a tree planted on your parkway. I entered that because I'm like, how cool would that be? Can I pick the tree? I want a tree whose leaves gonna turn red in the in the fall. So I'm all about that. So what you just said is good.
Have you heard about the sort of Lord and Lady program that they have? I think it's in Ireland and Scotland, a couple different countries.
Okay.
So what I did for Carrie last Christmas, Danielle's husband.
Yeah.
They have this thing where you can buy a square foot of land. I forget how big it is. But you can buy this land on this property, and by buying that land, then one, plant a tree there, and then two, you can become an official lord.
Oh.
Or lady. Okay. So Carrie is officially technically Lord Claiborne. Yes.
What? Oh,
so next time you see him, address him as such. And you know, it's because it's like.
Can I hit him over the head and
they claim his land. Yeah. I didn't read that part of the clause in the contract. I'm not sure how that works.
No, that's pretty cool.
But yeah.
Never heard of that.
So and a lot of different countries have now caught on to that trend to where Dad. Do you know Dad's an official baron?
Well, I know he's got the Baron car, so that's where the Baron came from.
So, well, it was before that, and I told him I was doing like he did adopted the Baron nickname before that, but then I told him the thing I was doing for Carrie, and we were like, "Is there a Baron thing out there?" And we looked it up, and he's like, "Yeah, you can become the Baron of I think it's Sealand, which technically isn't a place." So much as this parking garage for a helicopter. Like it's a piece of land that's not really land, but it's technically another country who's selling out these titles, and if you want to be a baron, you can be a baron. And just like they have programs for sirs and what is the one, duchesses, dukes. Like so, all that
I need to look into that. I would like, I originally wanted my PhD to add another title for myself, but I think that'll be easier to get than
I think it's only like $35.
Right, and then going through 80,000 getting my PhD. So I'm definitely gonna look into that. Yeah, definitely. I want something behind my name. It would have been great, MD, But yeah, I can be a duchess. I can do it. I can lady or whatever I can get. Yeah. I hadn't heard of that. That's cool.
It's like it's just about once you like if you get it for someone else, it's about getting them to accept it. Because most people think it's cool, but nobody wants to go around saying, "Yes, I'm Lord Van." Like, please address me as such. Like you can get it officially like on your debit cards and all that stuff. Like it's official, but like I don't think he's. Like Carrie's accepted it that hard yet. Same with Dad. Like I don't think he ever. Like I told him last time he went out of town. I'm like, now just this trip, introduce yourself as the Baron of Douglasville or the Baron of Sealand. Like introduce yourself that way. Just see how it feels. See how people react to it. And I don't think he's done that yet.
Yeah, I want to be the Duchess of New Lenox. Yes. That'll be the who? Yes. Yeah.
That's. You want to see my papers?
Right. Like, I got paperwork.
That is who I am. So.
I think I like that.
That's a thing going on now. And like I said, a lot of these things they plant trees where your land is. So yeah, it's a cool little.
Well, that would be good. So, what are you planning on doing the next 5 years? What's your experiences that you want to?
Well, my immediate experiences are probably this is a highlight. This is a highlight. Coming into Atlanta, I almost never come into the city these days. So coming here, talking with you, this is cool. Next thing up is like, cause I'm a cartoonist, so a lot of things are conventions are like kind of the center of stuff. So wait, I'm skipping over stuff. Sharif and I just went to Medieval Times. She had never been there before, so I took her there for her birthday. Which is like the 18th. So we just did Medieval Times. Next month we're going to the Tennessee Aquarium.
Yeah.
Which is, really cool one. I haven't been since like elementary school. We went for a field trip and it's like I know it's a really good one. I still haven't been to the one in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
Which I hear is a really good one.
It is. It's one of the top when we were searching because we were thinking about going to the aquarium right here. And we searched who's the top. And of course Chicago came.
So yeah, we're going to the aquarium next month.
Yeah.
December we're going to the Biltmore in Asheville.
Yeah.
She's never been there, so go there. They do it real nice for Christmas.
Yeah.
So we're doing that.
Oh my goodness, that's gonna be great.
Yeah. So then in January, I start with my conventions again. There's one I might go to in Macon, Georgia. Then in February, there's one I'm doing in Savannah, Georgia. And then March, it's like the end of March, beginning of April. There's a convention in Chicago.
Right.
C2E2.
Okay.
So I think that's about as far out as I'm planned right now.
Yeah.
And I want to do something like going on the cruise and being with family and everything made me realize just how close I am with my Chicago family and how just separated I am from my mom's side of the family. Okay. And it would be nice if we could sort of get together and have somewhat of that, that experience. So I'm in the process of trying to set something up where I can get some of my closer family members from my mom's side and of course Danielle's family to, meet at an Airbnb somewhere for a weekend, like 4-day weekend or something like that. So I don't know when that is, but that's kind of like something on my to-do list.
Yeah, that's what I had wanted to do as well. The Tennessee, Pigeon Forge area? Yeah. Where they got all the cabins, and I know they got
Gatlinburg.
In Gatlinburg. I wanted to kind of have everybody meet up there, and we get, couple of big cabins, but they got some nice ones.
I've been with Sharif a few times to the ones in Gatlinburg. They're nice.
Yeah, so I wanted to do something like that. Like you said, just to get everybody together. I love, for example, Yuna's birthday. So Sharif's birthday on the 18th?
October 18th.
Yuna's birthday is the 17th. So the weekend before, a couple of weekends before that, anywho, they gave her like a little surprise lunch at the patio, and we were all together. And Yuna's family is gigantic. I felt like man, we ain't even got enough representation here, for us. And the biggest surprise for me that day was seeing Sonia and Dorothy. Because I don't get to see them that often. I see Sonia a little bit more, but I hadn't seen Dorothy in forever. And I remember when we all came on the cruise, Dorothy, her family, Sonia. Man, we had so much fun out there. Uncle out there doing a robot and all that stuff. And it just was such a great time. So to me, that's why I always try and get us all, whoever wants to come, on the cruise. And let's just hang out, like y'all was down there playing the, revised Uno. And it just was just that moment was so much fun just for me to observe, cracking up, and but then it became the Vans against the Cheathams. Like, no, we all family. But it was so entertaining and so much fun. I just love when we all kind of get together. It just makes it so much fun to see everybody.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to sort of land this, because we need space to film our next video, which is the Uno face-off. So
you're gonna beat me in the game.
We don't know that. We don't know that. You were making the rules, remember?
No, I just was going by what I remember.
If you got the time,
I played
to send me and Dad this group text.
I just saw it. It just
with your
came
little
across.
link.
It just came across.
It's happening. It's happening. It's happening.
You just don't believe me that it came across. I didn't seek it out. It was like Yahoo. Oh, look at here. Uno's revised the blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, when I saw the word Uno, I had to send it to you. I'm like, what? I said, maybe I need to let the master Uno know they've, come up with a new rule.
Actually, before we do end it, there was two things I wanted to ask you. One, because of my channel, and the other one just out of fascination of talking to a person. One, tell me something I don't know about you.
You don't know that I've written a series of poems and words when I was young. I just haven't published it.
Wow, where are these?
I have a tablet. This is so crazy. back, this was a long time ago, I would have this, a spiral.
Okay.
I would leave it by my, night table. And at night, for some reason, just words would come to me. And I would get up and write them. They flowed. I wasn't sitting there, no deep thought.
Mm-hmm.
These were words that just was flowing right through me, and I would write them. This would happen, once a week, twice a week, to the point where I have a full spiral full of these. Some to me are poems, some are songs or psalms, as some people may say. And for a while I had lost it from moving. I just pack up stuff and go. And one day I found it, came upon, like, oh my God, when I'm reading it, it's almost like I'm reading someone else's words. Because they were written so long ago. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. And I need to publish it. That's one of my goals, to eventually get that published. So I don't think you knew that about me.
Nah, I mean, I didn't know a lot of stuff we talked about, which is why, because I've been meaning to talk to, like you, Grandma, Auntie, Uncle Kevin, like Dad's sibling, Grandma. And I was like, I think that would be cool to talk to, but I really want to talk to you, because it's like, well, I'm on that does a lot of stuff, and I don't really know anything about her besides she likes Legos and sneakers. And these are great qualities, like that's enough on its own. But I was just like, there's probably so much more. Like, I always enjoy talking to her, but I don't really know, like, I've never talked to her.
Yeah, so. And I think that's, I always gravitate. You like I love all my nieces, but you're like...
You don't have to say it out loud.
You know one, but but it's because when you first started showing me, like, your drawings and stuff, I was just like, oh my God, look at this talent. Because I gravitate to the arts. I love music. I used to play the piano. You might not know that. I used to play the piano. I have a keyboard at home that I don't get on now, but I love music, not just hearing, but playing. Any artsy thing, the drawing, I love the paint. I went to art school, because I didn't go so I can say, oh, I have a degree in art. I went to learn, to upskill, per se, to have someone to look at my work and say, hey, you might want to do this, to get some coaching into it. That's why I went, because I love that. I love interior design, because again, it's design and it's matching colors. It's putting things together to create some, type of beautiful room. And anything, that's why I love Lego so much. But the artsy, that stuff, that's why when you were showing me that, I'm like, yeah, that's a cool nephew. He into it, boy. We can have some conversations, and I'm loving the drawings, put more stuff up. Hey, I want to see what you do. And then, like, you told me about the podcast, I'm like, I didn't even know you were doing it.
Yeah, I've done, like, I think I've got like 10 episodes on YouTube, but it's been infrequent. It's kind of like I stopped doing it for a while, because I stopped doing a lot of things for a while, because I was more so just re-strategizing and trying to think of the best way to be a cartoonist in 2022, 2023, going forward. And the thing with my industry, there's a lot of people afraid of change. A lot of people still doing things the way they were done before. And because of that, the industry as a whole is really, like, just, withered away. And crumbled away, which kind of leads to my second question of how familiar are you with comics in general? And if you are, do you have a favorite character, and why?
I would say, and this goes back in the day, forward day, whatever.
Back in the time.
The thing was, as far as getting the newspaper, was the comics. Because the comic section was just the hee-hee-ha-ha of the day.
So when you think comics, that's what you think about?
When I think comics, the first thing for me that I love from my childhood would be that first. And then, the Marvel comic books, just had all of that in abundance. You know, Aunt would get them. I'm hurry up and read it so I can, you know, read it too. And the graphics, all of that. Again, it goes to my love for drawings, and not only that, the getting into a character. Like you said, my favorite character was there was a comic strip, Calvin and Hobbes.
Right.
Hobbes was my dude, you know, the coolest cat, you know, tiger. And I love when they came out with the books. I have 3 Calvin and Hobbes books where I can just go through and sit there and read it.
Do you have the complete collection?
I think I got 3. I don't know what's all in the collection, but I got the ones that I could get at that time. I know I got 3.
Because like he doesn't make them anymore, but it is consistently the collection is consistently one of the top selling books on Amazon. Yeah, like comic related.
Just the funniest, just living with that character just used to get me. Of course, Family Circle used to be in the comic strip, and you'd be like, yeah, that's us. You know, who left the, you know, top off the milk in the refrigerator kind of thing. But, you know, your Peanuts, all of those strips, they were like old, but you know, now even down to the Ziggy that used to be in the newspaper, you know, back in the day. You open the paper, you gotta get to see what Ziggy doing, you know, what he doing. So to me, that stuff just was always cool. So yes, I would say I pretty much know comics per se, but to say how they have advanced lately, like you're saying, you know, it's almost like a hidden, you know, like, oh, people still do it, yeah, but I don't see it advertised as much as it used to be back then. You know, to me, it would be like to have some of the new stuff, but here comes the problem with that, but I guess they can do something with that. You know, in the paper, I like to touch stuff. I know everything's so digital now, but, you know, if they would just promote it more, I think everybody would be into it. I just do. I'm like, and maybe it is being promoted, but I don't see it.
It's not really being promoted.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see it.
The movies are more so the forward foot of DC and Marvel. Yeah. So it's like, I think they kind of lean in, like, if you want to even call it promotion, they lean in the promotion campaigns and advertisements to a very niched audience and direct streams that really don't touch other people.
Yeah.
So it's,
And can you imagine if now they started comics back up?
Like how?
Like your DC, Marvel, stuff like that. If they started bringing all those back, or just
they're still going.
But you don't see it a lot. Like
you said, like if they started again on a big scale.
Yeah, like folks can collect them again and all of that, and like the Jughead, the old stuff. You see it, but it ain't out there. They need to create, to me, some frenzy around it. You know, where I can see that blowing up again. It just seems like it's just sitting, waiting for somebody to do it.
I mean, and the comp that a lot of people will say, the comparison is what's called manga, which is what you know, Dragon Ball Z and all them. So it's like the way it's handled overseas is the way people say they should handle it over here. It would have the same kind of cultural impact that you're talking about.
Yes, because as soon as you said that, I'm like, yeah, over there, boom, it's in the face. Here, it's just silent. Yeah, I don't see it. And I would think the interest is there, but nobody's doing it.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm all for the comics. I got into, you know, not Dragon Ball Z, but just some of the characters. You know, I guess when Pokemon kind of came out.
Couldn't miss that.
Right, you know, kind of that character, you know, look and feel. I thought it was pretty cool. So to me, that was like, you know, big. So make that big again here. You know, whatever that is. It could be your stuff.
Right. Trying.
Get a group of other cartoonists, artists that you know in your networking.
And I think to round it out here, what I'm doing on my channel is going to be like not so much educational, because I don't like the idea of me telling other people how to do their creative process or even their marketing strategy.
Right.
I'm gonna more so frame it as here's just my advice. Here's what I'm doing. You know, and I think you should try it too. You don't have to.
Right.
You know, you might find something even better to do a different way. So, but I do want to provide like what I think are good ideas and start interacting more on like Twitter with other creators. And I did that. What was this, like yesterday or 2 days ago? And like somebody said on a post like, hey, give me your most unpopular opinion of making comics, you know? Like just, you know, no one's gonna get canceled here. What do you think is the most radical thing, basically? And I was saying, well, I think a lot of more creators should make their own books, like DIY books, do-it-yourself books, like get a printer, print it at home. Because people will spend 5 G's just on getting these books printed. And I'm like, you don't got that kind of money. Most people don't have that kind of money. Which is why crowdfunding, you know, has become so popular to where everyone does a Kickstarter or Indiegogo to get their comic made. That's why everyone's so stuck in that mood. Because they're like, well, I have to pay to get this book printed. It's like, I'm like, start doing DIY printed books and don't sell it for money. Sell your books for like subscriptions to your social media. If you want a book, subscribe to my YouTube. You get a book.
Right.
And I did this recently at the first convention I went to in a while, and everybody was like, "Really? That's it?" Like they see the value in the book,
right?
And they're like, they see the subscription to YouTube like it's nothing. Like, oh, yeah, boom, there you go. Yeah. And what you're doing here is you're building a following that can actually create passive income for you. And more income, like your income can scale so much higher doing it that way versus just selling a book and that one transaction. Because a lot of the time, I've sold a bunch of books at these like conventions, and the relationship with that customer ends there. Right. So it's like, it's smart. So, you know, and I thought it was an unpopular opinion. Everybody was like, that's a great idea. And so I'm like, oh, I thought nobody was gonna be like, no money, what? Right. You know, I thought they were gonna like reject it. That's good. But I'm like, I'm trying to interact more because I think at the end of the day, I'm giving away some of my strategies, or I guess all of them. But I mean, at the end of the day, it advances the entire industry, which is gonna be good for me. Yeah. So it's like, I think that a lot more of that needs to happen, but. Thank you for being on the podcast. This was awesome talking to you. It's a regular conversation that we have when we see each other. Exactly. And I try to make it like that for even the people I don't know. Like, because a lot of times people do like you did. So what are we talking about? Like, you know, trying to prep. I'm like, we just talking. Right. It's just whatever comes up, whatever seems interesting at that moment. Because something that may seem interesting... Like, when I'm trying to, like, oh, I'm going to ask these questions. I might get here and be like, oh, I don't even really care about that. Right. As much as, like, oh, she mentioned this. Like, she said she does something with guns or whatever. Or, you know, like, it stops you from being able to jump onto things that do sound interesting. So, I like to just let it flow. So, but, this was great. Awesome. Gotta get Auntie to Uncle Kevin next. And then we're going to have the Avengers moment. My dream is to have all 4 of y'all on a podcast, now I get to hear all these developmental years, and well, she used to do this, and he used to do that, and there was this one time, you know, all that stuff, and then that'll be fun. So, but yes, thank you so much. Thank you, nephew. Thank you, and thank you for watching, and catch you in the next one.